Good morning. We will start with our today's lecture. Yesterday we finished up with the instruction set. Okay, so the last part of instruction set that we looked was bit manipulating instructions, right? Those are the instructions that operate on 1 bit SFR register or 1 bit memory. And majority of the bit manipulation instructions operate on carry flag and that 1 bit memory. 1 bit memory addresses begin from 00 hex to 7 hex, right? In today's lecture, we will start with the new topic, that is, we will look into details the functioning of the peripherals of microcontroller. Okay, peripheral, the name peripheral is given because these circuits are helping microcontroller to do some operation, right? We are saying peripheral circuits. Peripheral circuits are those circuits which help microcontroller to do some operation. So one of the peripheral is IO ports. IO port is an example of one peripheral, right? There are 4 IO ports. I/O stands for input or output, right? So what all peripherals do we have inside 8051 microcontroller? 4 ports. Then there are 2 timer peripherals, timer 0, timer 1. Then there is one serial peripheral, right? Serial communication. And there is interrupt peripheral. So these are called as peripheral circuits, right? IO ports, timers, serial communication, interrupt structure are called as peripherals. Peripherals help microcontroller to do some certain operation. So in today's lecture, we will look into what is the actual circuitry in IO ports and how does IO port function. Okay, so we will start with it. Now, hope you all remember a little bit about ports. When we were studying pins, 8051 pins, we had looked into a little bit about input-output ports. Okay, so we will just take a look at it and then we will go to the functioning of it. Now, IO ports are used. What is the functioning of these IO ports? It is helping a microcontroller to connect with any of an input or an output device, right? Input device means microcontroller will be taking data from that device. Input operation is nothing but microcontroller is read operation. And output devices, microcontroller will be sending some data to these devices. So that is called as a write operation. So microcontroller sending an output is a write operation. Microcontroller taking the data in is the read operation, right? And what all input devices, students, you all can think of. Input device can be simple key, push button key, or it can be any of the sensor. The sensors can be sensing any parameter, temperature, pressure, humidity, water flow, right? But these sensors are, whatever these sensors are, analog sensors, right? Whereas microcontroller is digital. So these analog sensors, analog quantity needs to be converted into digital. So then there is an ADC in between. So ADC is also one of an input device to microcontroller. Correct? The sensors will be connected to analog to digital converter and analog to digital converter will be connected to microcontroller. So in an input device, you can also have ADC in between, right? So switches, sensors, your keyboard, that is keypad, right? Mouse, these all are the category of input devices, right? An output device, it can be as simple as an LED, right? LED is 1 bit output device. So what all output devices can you think of? It can be an LED, it can be LCD display, right? Character display, that green color display, if you all remember. So that's called LCD, liquid crystal display. It can be a graphic display, graphics, that is showing bar diagram or some image. So that's called as graphic display. Your monitor is an output device, printer is an output device, and so on, right? So such input and output devices can be connected to microcontroller with the help of the port peripherals. Okay, students. So microcontroller has 4 ports, port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3. So there are 4 ports and each port is of 8 bit. If I say it is an LED, LED is a 1 bit device, a 1 bit output device, right? So these ports, they are of 8 bit each, right? And with the help of these ports, the input or the output devices can be connected. Now look here students, you all have studied 8086 microprocessor, correct? In the earlier semester, if I remember it correct, yes, you all have studied 8086 microprocessor. Now microprocessor, if I want to connect an LED to microprocessor, I cannot connect LED directly to the data pins of microprocessor. Okay, microprocessor doesn't have the circuit due to which I can directly connect LED to any of the pin of microprocessor. Are you getting me? Right? So if I wanted to connect an LED to 8086 microprocessor, I required 8255 programmable peripheral chip. Right? Did you all have this 8255? I'm not sure about, but then if I wanted to connect a LED to 8086 microcontroller, I would have required another 40 pin chip, and the name of the chip is 8255, which is a programmable peripheral interface chip. Right? Without that, LED cannot be connected directly to 8086. Right? So in between there was some circuitry, there was some chip, and that chip was 8255. And that 8255 had ports, port A, port B, port C. It means it had a circuitry which will help LED to be connected to 8086. Right? Whereas in case of microcontroller, that port circuitry is available on chip inside that 8051 microcontroller. Right? So that port circuitry is already available on chip. So that LED can be directly connected to any of the port of 8051 microcontroller. Right? So that's an advantage of a microcontroller. Many peripheral circuits are on chip, inbuilt in that microcontroller. Okay. So that's 4 ports we have: port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Right? And now these are the names of those ports, whereas the ports have their addresses also. So 80 is the address for port 0, 90 address of port 1, A0 address of port 2, and B0 address of port 3. So all these ports can be referred by their name or can be referred by their addresses. Okay, so in students, see, whatever instruction set we have studied, right? In those instruction set, we had direct addressing mode, right? Under the category of direct addressing mode, you can also put the addresses of SFRs 80, 90, A0, B0, correct? So under direct addressing mode category, we can also mention the addresses of SFRs. At the same time, instead of mentioning the address, I can also mention the name of SFR. Right? That is what I was explaining yesterday. Wherever there is direct addressing mode instruction, I can refer the SFR by the address or by the name. So under direct addressing mode category, I can also write P0, P1, P2, P3 as the direct address. Fine, referring it by the name. Okay. Now, each port is of 8 bit. So I can use that port as an 8 bit, or else I can use it as 1 bit also. Correct. So port 0, when I write port 0, microcontroller understands that's an 8 bit operation. Whereas if I want to make it as an 1 bit use, I can use it as P0.0, P0.1, P0.2 up to P0.7. So these are the names of the 1 bit port 0. Whereas if you want to use it that 1 bit by its address, we have addresses 80, 81, 82 up to 87. Mean P0.7, you refer it by the name, or you refer it by an address as 87 hex. Correct. So the ports are 8-bit data operated, or you can also use it as 1-bit data operation. But the addresses will be 8081 up to 87. Similarly, P1.0, P1.1, P1.7 are of 1 bit, and its corresponding addresses are 909192 up to 97 hex. Port 2, 2.0, 2.1, 2.7, its respective addresses are A0, A1, A2 up to A7. Port 3, P3.0, 3.1, 3.7, addresses B0, B1 up to B7. Right? So remember, students, you refer the port by their name or by their address. Either you use it as an 8-bit, or you use it as 1 bit, or you use it as a group of 4 bits, nibble. You can combine the port bits the way you want. Are you getting me? Right? So that's what is related to ports. So now we will specifically look into each and every port in detail. So we will start with port 0. Okay. So we will start with port 0. Now where is port 0? Port 0 is those pins. Microcontroller is a 40-pin microcontroller, right? 8051, 40-pin IC. Among those, pin number 39 to 32 are dedicated to port 0. So those 8 pins, 32, 33, so on up to 39 are port 0 pins. Whereas pin number 40 is VCC and pin number 20 is ground. So the pins near to VCC are the pins of port 0 and continuous 0.0, 0.1, 0.2 up to P0.7. Correct? And along with port, see, port 0 is a multifunctionality port. Right? From the name itself, pin number 32 to pin number 39 are going to perform multiple functions. What are those multiple functions? The pins are going to operate as IO port pins, or they will be operated as lower address bus A0 to A7 pins, or they will operate as data bus D0 to D7 pins. Right? So port 0 is of 3 functionalities. Hence it is called as a multi-function port. It behaves as a IO port, or it behaves as lower address bus A0 to A7, or it behaves as a 8-bit data bus D0 to D7. Correct? Multi-functionality port. Now, whenever we reset microcontroller or whenever we power on microcontroller, these pins behave as IO port pins. Okay, mean by default, these pins act as IO port pins. And logic 1 is sent on all the pins. Right? Whenever we power it on, whenever we power on microcontroller, logic 1 will appear on all the port pins. Right? And see, this is one of the way you can check whether all your microcontroller pins are functioning or not. Right? Whenever you buy microcontroller from the market, from the shop, you are not aware, you all are worried about, is this working or no? Is the chip functioning or no? You can check this. How can you check this? Put it on breadboard, right? Give that VCC ground, right? Connect crystal oscillator and just power it on. Whenever you power it on, all the pins of microcontroller, port pins of microcontroller should show 5 volt. Right? On all the pins, you should get logic 1. That is one of the way to check whether your controller is functioning or not. Is that okay? So whenever you power on or whenever you reset, the pins behave as IO pins and 5 volt will appear on all the pins. And they are ready to read, mean they start behaving as inputs. Okay, all the pins start behaving as inputs. And we will see why this happens. Whenever logic 1 appears on the pin, why does the pin start functioning as an input? We will see to this. Okay. The next, right? Now, whenever an external memory is interfaced to microcontroller, the same pins 32 to 39 start behaving as address data bus. right? So on an external memory connection, port 0 starts behaving as address and data bus. Now see, this is also combined. We say AD0 to AD7, and that is called time multiplexing. The combination of AD0 to AD7 is called as time multiplexing. Now time multiplexing means sharing, right? What is the meaning of multiplexing? Multiplexing means sharing. And what is it sharing? It's a time sharing. In the initial clock pulses, port 0 behaves as address bus, A0 to A7. And for the remaining 3 clock pulses, the pins start behaving as data bus, D0 to D7. Right? So that's called time multiplexing. Right? And now, whenever the port behaves as data bus, it's truly bidirectional. Okay, students? Whenever port 0 pins 32 to 39 acts as data bus, these pins are truly bidirectional. But when it acts as an address bus, the pins 32 to 39 are unidirectional. Address is sent out by microcontroller. So it's unidirectional output. Whereas data bus, microcontroller takes the data, sends the data bidirectional. And whenever it behaves as IO port, we need to initialize the pins to work as input pins. Are you getting me? Right? So it is quasi bidirectional. Whenever the port is an IO port, we need to do initialization, then and then only the pins start behaving as inputs. Right? Address bus behaves as output, unidirectional. Data bus behaves as input and output, truly bidirectional. Okay, students? So these are the features of those port. And the last point, port 0 is an open drain port. Right? It seems you might remember we had looked into open drain concept when we studied the pins. We'll see it again also. So port 0 is an open drain port. We need to connect on breadboard. We need to connect an external pull-up. What does that mean? I need to connect one 10K resistor to port 0, each and every pin of port 0. I need to connect 8 resistors. One of the terminal of the resistor is to VCC and the other terminal of the resistor is connected to port 0. So I need to connect such 8 external pull-ups. Then and then only port 0 functions correctly, else not. The read and write operations happen correctly if you connect an external pull-up. Right? You need to connect this on breadboard. Right? Why? Because it is an open drain. So we will see to that. What is open drain? Okay, students? Fine. Now, can you all see this diagram? So see here. This is a much simplified diagram of the port. So this is the internal hardware present in each and every pin of port 0. Okay, so take a look at the right hand side of the slide. See here, there is a box P0.x. I mean this is the diagram of one pin. Correct? One pin of port 0. And such circuitry is there for each and every pin of port 0. So such 8 circuits are present inside. Okay, so P0.x indicates that's the structure for P0.0, P0.1, P0.2 and so on, P0.7. So similar such 8 circuits are present. One circuit for one pin. Okay, so and that pin is that 40 pin chip. So whenever we buy that microcontroller, so this is that pin on the right hand side. Okay, students, and this entire circuitry is present inside microcontroller. Okay, now what all circuit is present? Let us go into detail. There is a D latch. Look at the center. There is D, and it is written P0.x latch. So there is one D latch. such there are 8 D latches. Okay, port 0 will have such 8 D latches. Okay, D stands for data latch. So what all inputs are there for the latch? See here, students. So this D latch is connected to the internal data bus of microcontroller, right? And it is a latch, mean it's that it needs a clock signal. CL is a clock signal. Where is it connected to? It is connected to a write control signal. So write to latch is a control signal. Okay. Then every latch has two outputs. One is true output Q and other one is a complemented output Q bar. So whatever you get on Q, the complement will be available on QB. Correct? So where is this Q connected? This Q is connected to one tri-stated buffer. See here, the triangle one, that is called as a tri-state buffer. Right? So there is Q is connected to a tri-state buffer. Now from the name itself, it's a buffer. What does a buffer do? It increases the signal carrying capacity. It increases the current capacity of the signal. As well as it works as it isolates the signal. Right? So this is also called as a buffer or a driver. Are you getting me, students? Right? So this triangular, there are two triangles. See here, one at the top and one at the bottom. These two are called as the buffers or the drivers. And they are tri-stated. It means, see at the center, that's an enable signal. What is the enable signal? Read latch. So that's what is, where is it? Where is the enable of the buffer connected? To the read latch control signal. Okay, so that's internally generated. Now, whenever the buffer is on, the data gets transmitted. And whenever the buffer is off, it is tri-stated. It means electrically disconnected. Right? Who controls on and off the buffer? That's the control signal read latch. Okay, so there is one more buffer at down, that triangle. Who controls the on and off of this buffer? That's the read pin control signal. So you have two read signals, students. One control signal is read the latch and the other control signal is read the pin. Right? Are you getting the difference? So this one buffer control signal is read the pin, and where is that connected? To that 40 pin, silver color pin. And there is another buffer which is connected to the latch. Okay, students, and the control signal is read the latch. Now, when does read latch happen and when does read pin happen depends on the instruction. And we will see when we see the functionality. But keep in mind, read, there are two read operations. One is read the 40 pin silver color pin and the other is read the latch. So these are the tri-stated buffers or drivers. Now see at the center, there is one multiplexer. Can you see the box and what is it written? MUX. So this is 2:1 multiplexer. So there are two inputs. See the arrow. The one of the arrow is coming from the top and the other arrow is coming from the latch. So these are the two inputs, input 0, input 1. Right? And see, that's a switch, select line. Where is the select line coming from? The control signal. Are you getting me, students? So when I say multiplexer, it has inputs, it has one select line and it has an output. So see the black dot, that's the output. Output of the mux is connected to a MOSFET. Okay. Now what is the functioning of this multiplexer? This multiplexer helps to select one of the functionality of the port. Right. So pin number 32 to 39 are doing three functions. One is IO port by default. And the other one is it acts as an address bus A0 to A7. Acts as a data bus D0 to D7. So what functionality is to be given is decided by this multiplexer and the circuitry above. See that AND gate and that inverter. So all together, this circuitry decides the functionality of those pins pin number 32 to pin number 39. Correct? So by default, the switch is connected to the D latch. The D latch means by default, the port behaves as IO port. Correct? And depending on this control signal, right? This is the control signal generated internally by microcontroller. This control signal will keep the switch to the D latch. And when an external memory is interfaced, the switch will be switched to AD0 to AD7 pins. Okay. So now see, if you remember the block diagram of microcontroller, internally there is RAM, there is ROM, there is on-chip oscillator, right? And as well as there is a system bus inside. And what is that? Sorry, what is that system bus? That system bus is nothing but it comprises of internal address bus, internal data bus, and the internal control bus. And that is the control signals we are talking about, students. So can you see here? That's the control signal. Read latch is another control signal. Write latch is another control signal. Read pin is another control signal. So all these control signals are generated internally by the microcontroller, depending on what instruction it is executing. Yeah, hope you are getting me, students. So that's the circuitry which decides the functionality of the pins. Okay. Now come to the right hand side. See, there are two MOSFETs. Right? Can you see here the diagram? That's the diagram of MOSFET. MOSFET. Metal oxide field effect transistor. So there are two MOSFETs, and these two MOSFETs are connected to the pin. Okay. Now when I say a MOSFET is a 4-terminal device. I have not shown the 4th terminal. Correct? Because that terminal is permanently connected to ground. I have shown here only 3 terminals. Right? So look at the top MOSFET. Right? The terminal which is connected to VCC is called as a drain. Correct? The terminal which is connected to the AND gate is called as a gate. So drain, gate, and the lower terminal is called as a source. So these are the terminals of MOSFET, students. Drain, the upper one is the drain, in between is the gate, and the down one is the source. Right? Similarly, you have another MOSFET here. So the drain terminal is connected to the pin. The gate terminal is connected to the output of multiplexer, and the source terminal is grounded. Can you see that triangle? That's the ground connection. So the terminals of the MOSFET is drain, gate, source. And now, whenever the port behaves as IO port, the upper MOSFET is always off. Look here, students, right? By default, these pins behaves as port pins, IO port pins. And whenever the pins are behaving as IO port pins, the upper MOSFET is always off. Off means electrically open. So this terminal is always open, right? It means only the lower MOSFET will be either on or off depending on the mux output, whereas the upper FET is always off. Are you getting me? Hence, the lower FET, what is the upper terminal? Drain terminal. Since the upper MOSFET is off, it's open circuit, we say it is open drain port. Did you all get this, students? Did you all understand the hardware that is available for the port? What hardware do we have? Internally, there is one latch. There are 2 buffers. There is a multiplexer which selects the functionality of the port. And there are 2 MOSFETs. Now we will see how does it operate. Right? We will see when it acts as an IO port, how does this hardware work? Right? And when microcontroller sends logic 1, how does it send? Whenever it reads, how does it read? So we will see that. We will see first. How does write operation happen? Write operation means what? Microcontroller is sending out some data on the port pin. Are you getting me? It means you can be writing an instruction like this. Sorry. MOV P0, hash 86 hex. So what is microcontroller doing? 86 hex. 8 means 1000, 6 means 0110. This 8-bit binary data is sent out on port 0. So something sent out by microcontroller is called write operation. Microcontroller is writing on pin. And what is it writing now? Logic 0. See, 86 hex. So what is that? If I say 0.0 pin, the lower 0.0 pin is logic 0. It means microcontroller is logic 0. Or you're writing an instruction CLR P0.0. You're clearing that pin. It means what is microcontroller doing? Sending logic 0 on P0.0 pin. So how is this logic 0 sent? On the pin by the microcontroller. Okay. Now, I told you all, whenever the pin acts as an IO pin, the upper MOSFET is off. So look into the diagram. What is the first thing happening? That upper MOSFET is by default off. This control signal will tell the AND gate, send logic 0. Logic 0 will turn off the MOSFET. Okay, mean the pin is behaving as an IO pin. Now what is microcontroller going to do? Send logic 0. So the first thing it does is, as soon as the instruction is getting executed, the first thing microcontroller does is places logic 0 on the internal data bus. Are you getting me? So logic 0 is placed on the internal data bus. Then it sends the control signal, write the latch. So logic 1 is sent, this write to latch control signal is sent. Okay. Now this control signal is acting as a clock signal. As soon as the latch gets the clock, the D latch enables, and whatever is at the D input gets transmitted at the output. So what will be available at the output of the latch? Logic 0 gets transmitted. It's a data latch. Whatever is at the input transmits at the output. So logic 0 gets transmitted on Q. So what will be available on Q bar? Its complement. Logic 1 appears on the Q bar. This Q bar is transmitted ahead. So what will go to the MOSFET? Logic 1 will be transmitted to the lower MOSFET. This is an NMOS, right? See, MOSFET, there are two varieties, NMOS and PMOS. So what diagram do we have here? NMOSFET. So logic 1 to NMOS turns it on. So the lower MOSFET turns on. The upper MOSFET was already off, mean it is disconnected from VCC, open circuit. Whereas the lower MOSFET turned on. On means close switch, short circuit. Mean the pin, this pin gets connected to ground. Correct? The pin is connected to ground, mean what logic appears on the pin? Logic 0. And that's how microcontroller sends logic 0 on the port pin. Did you get me, students? Right? That logic 0 from internal data bus got transmitted to the pin of microcontroller. Right? So let me again repeat this. What is first happening? This is this diagram. The pin is acting as an IO pin. IO pin mean this control circuitry will turn off the upper MOSFET. The upper MOSFET will be permanently off, disconnected, electrically disconnected. Then microcontroller will place logic 0 on the data bus. Then will send the clock signal, write to latch control signal. This will enable the latch and logic 0 will be transmitted. Q bar will be its complement. This logic 1 will be transmitted to the MOSFET. This logic 1 will turn on the MOSFET. And due to this, the pin will be connected to ground. The pin will be connected to ground and logic 0 appears on the pin. Students, let me know, did you all understand the functioning, the right logic 0 operation? Now we will see how is logic 1 sent out. So again, it is an IO port. Mean what is the first operation happening? The upper MOSFET will be off. The next operation will be microcontroller will place logic 1 on the data bus. Then it will activate the write to latch signal. This will enable the latch and logic 1 will be sent on the latch. The other output will be its complement. So QB will be its complement. This logic 0 will be sent on, will be forwarded to the lower MOSFET. Logic 0 will keep the MOSFET off. Now look here, students. The upper MOSFET was already off. And writing logic 1 turned off the lower MOSFET. Mean here also there is an open circuit. And upper side also there is an open circuit. So what will be the logic on the pin? The pin is floating. Yes or no, students? Now there is a problem. The upper MOSFET is off, mean disconnected from VCC. The lower MOSFET is off, disconnected from ground, mean that pin is floating. So what is the logic available on the floating pin, students? Someone answer me. Will it be logic 0? Will it be logic 1? Will it have previous output as it is? What do you think? Since the pin is floating, students, see the pin is floating. Floating means it's not neither connected to VCC, it is neither connected to ground, right? So what will happen to the floating pin? It will keep whatever the previous output was, it will keep as it is. So what did we do previously? Writing logic 0. So what will be available here? Logic 0. And that is something going wrong. What was I supposed to do? Microcontroller was supposed to send logic 1 on the pin. But that didn't happen. Why? Because both the MOSFETs were off. And that is because of that open drain port. Are you getting me? It means as a programmer, as a designer, I have to do something so that the logic 1 appears here. Mean I have to connect something externally to this pin and make this pin logic 1. Correct? Mean what I have to do? Externally, I have to do some hardware connection. Take a 10K resistor, connect one terminal to VCC and connect the other terminal to the pin. And this is called external pull-up. Correct? Okay. So that logic was getting wrong. Why? Because it was an open drain port. So that to get a correct logic, we need to connect an hardware circuitry. We need to connect a pull-up. Correct? On 110K resistor. Now see, does it work correctly? Let us see the same operation, writing logic 1. Right? So the upper MOSFET was already off. Microcontroller will place logic 1 on the data bus. It will enable the write signal. This will enable the latch. Q bar will be its complement. Logic 0 will be transmitted. It will turn off the lower MOSFET. Right? Mean the upper MOSFET is off. The lower MOSFET is off. Now where is this pin connected? This pin is connected to VCC by the pull-up. And the name itself is pull-up. Mean this pin will be brought up to VCC. And now logic 1 appears on the pin. And that's how the correct operation, right operation happens. Because of this pull-up getting connected, the logic 1 appears on the pin. Are you getting me? Hence, always remember, whenever you are using port 0, make additional hardware connection to each and every pin of port 0. So I'll be connecting such 8 pull-up resistors to each and every pin of port 0. If I do not do this, writing 1 will not happen to any of the pins. Did you all understand that open drain? What is the problem? Okay, students. Right. So now one last point and I will stop. See, Now connecting this resistor, logic 1 came correctly. But will it create a problem for logic 0? Let us see. Now whenever we are sending logic 0, right, 0 will appear here, right? 1 will appear here, 1 will appear here. The lower MOSFET will be on. It means from this VCC, this resistor and this lower MOSFET, a large amount of current will flow through this path. Right? Are you getting me? This, whenever I am sending logic 0, the lower MOSFET is on. So there will be a current flow from this VCC through this resistor, through this MOSFET, and it will be grounded. Correct? Mean there will be a large drop across this resistor. So VCC minus the drop, logic 0 will appear on the pin. Mean the point is, connecting this pull-up will not affect sending logic 0 on the pin. Correct? And whereas connecting this pull-up inserts logic 1 on the pin. Right? So that's the functioning of port 0. So, okay students, I'll stop here. Thank you for attending the session and see you in the, and bye students. Bye.